Gina is a 35 years old woman who had worked very hard and made money for herself. She was from a humble background and life showed her shege when she was younger. Now, having become a successful real estate developer, she had everything money could buy. Gina started out in life as a simple house agent who helped people find apartment for rent. She graduated to buying her own houses and then owning many properties in the city. Gina could afford to buy anything she wants, no matter how much it cost. But one problem is that she does not have a husband. She has always been lonely. She also does not keep friends. She lives alone in her mansion. This house is so big for me to be living alone. I wonder when I'm going to get my own husband. I'm now 35 years old without a husband. This is not good and it is not life. I'm even ashamed of going to the village because my family members will start asking me when I'm going to bring a husband home. I hate that question and I always don't know how to answer it. Am I the one that will marry myself? Gina asked herself that evening while relaxing in her living room and drinking red wine. People will be asking when you are getting married as if they want to give you a man. I cannot marry myself. I have been waiting for a man all to no avail. I cannot force myself on a man. Well, it's not what my friend did to me 15 years ago. I would have been married by now with kids. Gina lamented. She remembered she had planned of paying her former friend a special visit. That reminds me, it is today that I'm supposed to visit her. Her cup is full and it is time for me to carry out my revenge. She was the one who kept me in this situation. I know Nkem will not even recognize me again if she sees me. I think I should pay them a visit. She does not even know that I live in this city of Port Harcourt. I know where she lives with her husband. I will pay them a visit this weekend and implement the revenge plan I had prepared for her. What she did to me 15 years ago was cruel and she must pay for her sins. I will make her pay for her sins. I have been planning this revenge for a long time, but now is the time for me to go and carry it out. Gina said. She was happy that she has made money and bought many properties, and she does not have to work every day to be able to survive. Even if I don't go to work, my properties have paid me enough money to use and survive for many years. I worked hard to make money so that I will position myself very well to serve revenge to Nkem. She think I'm going to forget what she did to me when we were still coming up as younger ladies. Well, she now has children and she's living happily with her husband. But I'm about to cut their happiness short. I'm going to destroy her family, Gina said. That same evening, she packed her bags and went to Nkem's house. She has already mapped out the strategy she was going to use to gain access into the building. She decided to disguise as a poor woman looking for a domestic job. Nkem's husband is a very rich man, and Nkem had many domestic staff that work in the compound. I'm going to take up a job in her compound. Working in the compound will give access to everything and everyone. That is the only way I will be able to destroy the family, Gina said as she took her bag and left her house. She didn't go with her car. She used her phone to order an Uber ride. Before she took the decision to serve Nkem with revenge, she had taken time to carry out an investigation about Nkem's family. In fact, she hired a private detective who studied the family and gave her detailed information about the house. It was the private detective who also informed her that there was a vacancy at Nkem's house as they were looking for a nanny for her 5 children. Nkem and her husband does not have time to look after children, so they usually hire nannies to do the job. Their nanny had recently resigned and they were looking for another person. That was the job Gina was going to take. But her real intention was to gain access to the building and carry out her revenge. I'm going to destroy you. I know everything about you, and I know what to do to destroy you and your family. You were my friend when we were growing up, but I will never forget what you did to me. It was 15 years ago, but it's still very much fresh in my mind, Gina said. The Opa had arrived and they were now driving to Nkem's house. Luckily, there was no hold-up in Port Harcourt that evening, so they soon arrived in Nkem's house. Gina walked into the building after being permitted by the gateman. Luckily, she met Nkem at home that evening. It was Sunday, so she did not go to work. "Good evening, ma," Gina said to Nkem, who was sitting with her husband, Dr. Benji. Benji was a wealthy medical doctor who owned a chain of hospitals and pharmacies. He was also at home that evening. "Good evening, young lady. How may we help you?" Nkem asked. "I have come to apply for the job, ma. I saw a vacancy outside the gate announcing that you are looking for a nanny," Gina said. "Okay. How many years of experience do you have?" Nkem asked. Gina knew that Nkem would not recognize her. Benji also did not recognize Gina. They did not know her because she had done plastic surgeries on her face. Her face was no longer the same. "I have 10 years of experience. I have been a family nanny for many people. Some of the children I helped raised are doing well in school. I'm intelligent too. I used to help children with their homework. I'm also a good cook. I can cook all types of meals. So, if you hire me, you will benefit a lot. Besides, I'm a Christian, and your children will learn good morals from me," Gina said. "Wow, I like the way you talk. You are hired already," Nkem said. Gina was overjoyed. She was shown to a room that was well decorated. "This is your room. You can live here while working," Nkem said to Gina while showing her around the whole building. "Thank you, ma," Gina said. That very night, Gina started with her revenge mission. "What Nkem did to me cannot go unpunished. There is no time to waste. I'm starting tonight. I will start with small acts of revenge and graduate to my ultimate plan. By the time I finish all my plans, the family would have been destroyed," Gina said. She went to the kitchen and turned on the gas cooker. She did ignite fire. She just wanted the gas to be leaking. She could perceive the odor of gas. She wants the entire building to be filled with gas so that a single spark will create fire. She unscrewed it and left it to leak. She locked up the kitchen. "I hope Nkem will be the one to enter the kitchen and try to cook in the morning or this night. I want her to burn. This is just the beginning. She will pay for all she did to me," Gina said as she went back to her room. Everyone had gone to bed and no one knew gas was leaking in the kitchen except Gina. It was a disaster waiting to happen. All that was left was a spark, A single spark would create the fire that Gina needed to cause unimaginable chaos in the entire building. She did not mind that she was also inside the building, but she had planned her exit strategy. As soon as I hear the sound of ignition, I will run away from the building. The other people here are not aware of my plan. I'm the only one who is aware of what is happening, so it is easier for me to escape, Gina said. That night, Nkem did not sleep early. She was feeling hungry because she did not eat much of solid food during the day. She decided to go to the kitchen to make eba for herself. There was vegetable soup in the fridge, so she was going to warm a plate so she could eat swallow. Nkem does not joke with swallow. She is the type of person who wakes up in the middle of the night to make eba and eat. That was what she was going to do that night. Nkem did not know that something bad was waiting for her in the kitchen. She had no idea of the trap set for her by Gina. Although Nkem has a lot of domestic staff helping her, she does not like waking them up to cook for her in the night. She prefers making her eba by herself any night she wants to eat late. The time was 3 a.m. This was not the first time Nkem was eating in the night. It's something she has been doing for many years. Her husband has often mocked her that it was because of her late night food that her belly was big. But Nkem refused to stop. When she opened the door of the kitchen that night, the odor of the gas greeted her nose. The whole kitchen had been drenched in gas, which had been escaping since 10 p.m. the previous day. There was a big gas cylinder in the kitchen and it contained several kilograms of gas. It was still escaping and filling the kitchen even at that moment. Oh God, gas is smelling here. What happened? Who left the gas cooker on? It is leaking, Nkem asked. There was no one to answer her because everyone in the apartment was asleep. The only person who was awake was Gina. When she heard Nkem's voice, she got ready and prepared to escape through the back door of her room in case fire was ignited. How I wish there would be a spark in the kitchen. If there is a spark of fire in the kitchen, I will know that I have achieved my purpose. Nkem will not make it out of the kitchen if fire engulfs the place, Gina said when she heard Nkem's voice. Meanwhile, Nkem had rushed to cock the gas and the thing stopped leaking. She heaved a sigh of relief. Due to what happened, Nkem decided she was not going to put on the gas again to avoid a spark. She decided to go back and try to sleep with an empty belly. Let me just go back and sleep. The whole place is filled with leaked gas. All that is needed here now is just a spark of fire and there will be an unimaginable problem. I don't want this to happen, so I will not be starting any fire. It is better for me to sleep with an empty belly than for me to land in the hospital tomorrow, Nkem said as she started leaving. Before leaving, she had opened all the windows at the kitchen so that the accumulated gas in the kitchen could escape. All the doors in the entire building were iron doors. Even the kitchen door was an iron door. When Nkem was leaving, she forcefully banged the kitchen door. Already, the kitchen door does not close well. It has some fault that made it difficult to close except with a very strong pull. Nkem wanted the kitchen door to close tightly that night because she did not want the gas to spread further into other rooms. What is wrong with this door? I have told my husband to repair it since, and he has not paid attention. Look now, I cannot lock it. The door is so tight and it is refusing to hook very well. I can already perceive the door of gas everywhere. The door has to be locked so that the gas will not spread to other rooms and cause a fire. I must lock the door, no matter how strong it is, Nkem said. She forcefully pulled the door and it hit on the iron frame, causing a spark which ignited fire in the kitchen. Nkem saw the spark she unknowingly created. The fire started so quickly and rapidly. The entire kitchen was overtaken by flames. There was smoke everywhere. Nkem's body had been gutted by fire and she was running and shouting for help. Her clothes and shower cap were burning. Before her husband came out, it was already too late because her face and body suffered burns. Nkem's husband picked one of the fire extinguisher in the building and successfully quenched the fire. Meanwhile, Nkem's face was burned such that people who knew how beautiful she was wouldn't know her again. That same night, she was rushed to the hospital by her husband. When they got to the hospital, the doctor said Nkem would spend 6 months in bed before she would recover. She suffered a lot of burns. She is lucky to be alive. She will stay here for 6 months, the doctor said. Nkem's husband agreed. I'm so happy. My first plan was successful. The next one will be worse than this. I will implement my next plan tomorrow. I will deal with you, Nkem. In your next word, when you see someone who resembles me, she will run away, Gina said. Today, one of your children will feel the heat of my revenge, Gina said when it was daybreak. It is the responsibility of Gina to prepare Nkem's children for school. She was happy that she has opportunity to be close to Nkem's children. This would give her the chance to do exactly what she wants with them. Her intention is to carry out revenge in every part of Nkem's family. She has started with Nkem by making sure that she was burnt by fire and that she is now in the hospital where she will spend 6 months. Nkem's absence now means Gina has access to everything in the house as the children's nanny. This made her happy beyond measure. When she woke up that morning, she was in her room thinking of what to do to the children so as to increase the level of trouble and anxiety in Nkem's household. Her plan is to destroy the family in every angle. Gina wants the situation whereby if Nkem comes back from the hospital, she will not meet anything left of her family. Her heart was very vengeful. Each time she had remember what Nkem did to her, she becomes angrier. She has refused to forgive her even though so many years have passed since Nkem and her husband wronged her. I will never forget what these two people did to me. My heart bleed 15 years ago when they dealt with me. I will never forgive them. I will never forget what they did. I will make them to pay for their sins. They can never go scot-free. I have allowed them to enjoy life enough and to even bear children, but now is the time for revenge. By the time I leave this house, there will be nothing left of the house and there will be nothing left of the family. Everything will be destroyed and I will be responsible for the destruction. I will look them in the face and tell them that I did it, Gina said to herself as she was going out from her room. Gina went to the room where the children were sleeping and woke them up. She took them to the living room where she prepared them for school, one after the other. The children were still really small and they cannot take care of themselves yet. Gina helped them to take their bath and to wear school uniform. She also fed them with food prepared by the cook and then put them in the car for the driver to take them to school. Now it's time for action. Let me go out of the house and alert my gang, Gina said. Before she came to accept a job at Nkem's house, she had hired a gang that will help her get some things done if need be. The gang was stationed in her house and she was feeding them and giving them everything they needed. Gina was rich and money was not her problem. She quickly picked up her phone and called the gang leader to inform him it was time for action. It is time. You remember what I said about the children? The children are 5 in number, and I would like you to kidnap them one after the other. Right now, the children are going to school, and I want you to carry out one of the kidnappings this morning. You have to act fast, because if you allow the children to arrive school, you will not be able to do the job. I will send you details of the car they are driving in. I will send you the plate number and the color of the vehicle. I will also send you the road they have followed. Please check your inbox for the full information. Kidnap one of the children and take him to my house, Gina said in hushed tones. All right, consider it done, madam. We are on our way to do the job. I have received all the information you sent, the gang leader said. About 1 hour later, the driver who was taking the children to school drove back home in tears. He was crying like a baby because of what happened when they were going to school. What is the matter? Nkem's husband asked the driver when he saw that the car was empty. The man was not able to speak at first, but he had to be given cold water to help him relax so he can say what happened to the children. The children I was driving to school have been kidnapped. Kidnappers attacked us on our way and took all the children from me, the driver said with tears in his eyes. Gina heard what he said and started wondering why her gang kidnapped all the children at once. She wanted to do it one after the other. Gina went to her room to place a call to the gang leader. You people did not do the job according to my instructions. You kidnapped all the children at once. I told you to kidnap only one, and now you have taken all of them. What happened? Gina asked. We did not forget what you said, madam. This is a risky job. We cannot have an opportunity to kidnap the children at once and then we will waste it. Do you think it will be easy to see the children all together again? Once you kidnap one, the parents will become more careful and protective of the rest. It is better to do it at once instead of going and coming back. What if on the second attempt, they get us arrested, madam? This is not a football game that should have a turn match. We do the job at once when we have the opportunity to do it. We have been in this job for many years and we don't used to fail. Don't worry, we will not fail you. The children are in your house right now. The woman you hired to take care of them is also here and she has started doing her job. The children are fine, just that they have been crying since morning. But that is a normal thing, the gang leader said. Alright, I agree with you. I will send you the phone number of their father so that you will contact them for ransom, Gina said. Nkem and her husband were devastated by the news that all their 5 children were kidnapped. Their lives were turned upside down. This is what I want, Gina said to herself. In the evening of that same day, the gang leader received a message from Gina. Gina had sent him the phone number for him to call and negotiate for ransom for the children they had kidnapped. Gina had told the gang leader to demand for 500 million. She had the gang leader that the father of the children was very rich and that he was capable of paying the money. She gave an instruction that Nkem and her husband should be given only 24 hours to look for the money. The gang leader agreed and placed the call immediately. Gina was around in the living room when Nkem's husband picked the call from the kidnappers. The man has not been himself since his children went missing. He has been devastated by the development. The man so much loved his children, and he never expected that a day would come when he would be answering calls from kidnappers who had taken his children. This has never happened to him before, and he has never been in this kind of situation. He had gone to the police station to report the matter, but he knows very well that the police cannot help him. "Is this Mr. Benji?" the kidnappers asked. "Yes, please. My name is Dr. Benji," he responded over the phone. Gina and other sympathizers were in the living room with him, and they were listening to the unfolded conversation. "All right, we have all your children and they are safe. In fact, they are playing around as I speak right now. The children are eating well and they are being cared for by a professional nanny. They are living well and we are not going to harm them. All your 5 children are very safe under our care, and you don't have to worry about their safety," the kidnapper leader said with a reassuring voice. "Please, can you release them? They are just children, and I will not be able to enjoy it if anything happens to them. They are just kids, and they are the reason I'm alive. I will not be able to live if they don't come back alive. Please help me and set them free. They have done nothing wrong and they don't deserve to be taken away from their parents at such a young age. They are too small to stay so far away from their parents. I will do whatever you want to have the children released," Dr. Benji said with tears in his eyes. His tears were making Gina happy. "I just told you not to worry about their safety. Your children are safe and sound. I'm happy you said you would do anything you want. Once you do what we ask you to do, the children will be released safely. However, there will be a serious problem if you fail to comply with our demands. If you fail to do exactly what we ask, that is when we cannot guarantee the safety of the people under our custody," the kidnappers leader said. Nkem's husband was waiting eagerly to hear what the kidnappers would demand. "What do you want me to do? Just name it and I will do it. Do you want money? Do you want cars? Anything you want. Just name it and I will make it available to make sure my children will be set free this evening," Dr. Benji said. He was still crying as he was speaking. He was devastated because in a space of 24 hours, 2 ugly events had hit his family. The first was that his wife was burnt by fire and she was now languishing in the hospital. The second was that his children were kidnapped. This was too much for one man to bear. "Well, you are going to pay us 500 million naira. You have to bring the money in cash or you send it to us. We don't accept back transfer. And when you are coming to give us the money, you must not come with the police or any other security personnel. If you show up with security, we will not release the children. You must come alone with the money in a bag. If you pay the money tonight, we will have the children released immediately. And we will tell you where you can come and pick them," the kidnappers said. Dr. Benji is a billionaire. He owns chains of businesses including hospitals, supermarkets, companies, oil and gas concerns, and many other business ventures that gave him so much money. He was rich in every sense of the word. Rich people always have money available in case of emergency such as this one. The cash flow in Dr. Benji's house was unimaginable. It was shocking to Gina that he was able to get the car she wanted that same night. Already, he has some of the money at home, but he called his bankers and cash was brought for him at home. Rich people have it all mapped out for them. There is nothing they cannot achieve. Imagine getting cash from the bank in the night. Only a very rich man can make that happen. And the bank manager even brought the money to him at home. I used to hear this kind of thing and I would think it is not true. Now I have seen it with my own eyes. Now you have shown me that you have money. You will see shege in my hands. Gina said when she saw Dr. Benji dragging the bag of 500 million. He did not even negotiate with the kidnappers. Dr. Benji called the kidnappers back and they directed him on where to bring the money. They insisted he must come by himself and that he must come alone. He dragged the bag of money into his car and started driving to the location. His heart was pounding very fast and he did not know what to expect from the kidnappers. If I die, I die. I cannot leave my children to spend the night in kidnappers' den. I will do whatever it takes to bring them home, Dr. Benji said. Gina knew too well not to allow the kidnapper gang to stay in her house to collect the money that Dr. Benji was bringing. She did not want the man to know the house because after paying the ransom, he might come back with the police. As a precautionary measure, she had instructed them to direct Dr. Benji to a bushy area which was very far away from the town. Once they take him there, it will be impossible for him to trace the kidnappers and bring the police to arrest any one of them afterwards. Even the kidnappers knew this very well. This was why they gave him an address that would be hard for the police to trace. He got there around 9 p.m. and found everywhere calm and quiet. The only sound he was hearing were the chirping of birds and night crawlers as well as the weeping of tall trees. That's entire area. The place was so scary and Dr. Benji did not want to spend more than a few minutes there. He was there because he had no option. He was there because of his children. He wants to rescue them and he was ready to take any risk to have them back home that night. This place is very scary. I wonder why these people asked me to come here. I wonder why they did not show me a lively neighborhood where there are many people. It is sad that they brought me here, but I have no option but to follow their instructions. All I want is for them to release my children for me to take home this night. I don't want them to spend the night in this kind of forest. I want them home this night, no matter how much. I have to pay the kidnappers. Dr. Benji said to himself when he parked his car and came down to look around. He stayed for up to 20 minutes, but he did not see anyone passing. He also did not see the kidnappers. The entire place was far removed from the main town such that even if he screamed, no one would hear his voice. It was a lonely and dangerous place. People knew that area as kidnappers then. Dr. Benji wanted a situation whereby the kidnappers would quickly give him his 5 children and collect the money he had brought for them. However, it was taking more time than required. Why are they not coming? I have been waiting here for a while now and these people have not come. Is it that I did not come to the right place? But this is the place they told me to stop. They should come with the children now. I'm afraid here and I don't want anything to happen to me. The night is fast spent. Let me call them on phone to know why they are not coming. Dr. Benji said in his heart. When he brought out his phone, he saw that there was no network in that area. He was devastated. A few minutes later, Dr. Benji saw a car approaching him. He knew that it must be the kidnappers because he has not seen any car pass through the road since he stopped there. He started saying silent prayers in his heart, asking God to spare his life and those of his children. He wondered why the kidnappers took so long before coming, but he was glad that they were finally around. However, what bothered him was that when he looked into the vehicle brought by the kidnappers, he did not see his children in it. Raise up your hand in the air. Drop your phone on the ground. Step away from your car. Remove all your clothes. Remove your shoes as well. Throw the car keys to us and move away from the car. Be very fast about all the instructions. If you don't act fast, we will send you one granite. Be fast and remove your clothes. Raise your hands in the air, sit on the ground, and don't move until we ask you to move. The leader of the kidnappers said with a harsh voice. Dr. Benji was so scared, and he was wondering if it was kidnappers or armed robbers that came to attack him. Who are you, please? Are you not the kidnappers? Where are my children? I thought you said I should bring the money that you will give me my children. Where are the children? The money you asked for is in the boot of my car. Just go and take the money and drop my children for me. Take all the money in my car. I brought the money specifically for you. Just let my children go. Don't harm them, Dr. Benji said after he removed his clothes and lay on the ground as he was ordered. The kidnappers did not say anything else after he dropped his phone, gave them his car keys, removed his clothes and lay on the floor as he was instructed. One of them just entered Dr. Benji's car, drove away with the money in the boot. They did not bring the children along while coming. Dr. Benji was left alone in the middle of nowhere. Night had fully covered and there were no more cars passing on the road. There was no one to help Dr. Benji. He was there alone, abandoned and scared to his bone. These people have robbed me. Are they not the kidnappers? They asked me to come here, but they have ended up robbing me. What kind of wickedness is this? Dr. Benji said. He quickly stood up and started walking home. His car was gone. The money he brought gone, and he still didn't get his children back. He did not know if he should run or if he should continue walking, but he was surely scared beyond measure. Meanwhile, the kidnappers informed Gina that the operation was a successful one. She was the one who told them not to release the children to Dr. Benji. She asked them to take his money and his phone and disappear. Now the next line of action is to call him, accuse him of not showing up at the right address you gave him. Give him another address and tell him to bring another 500 million in 24 hours. Gina tells the kidnapper leader. He will do that in the morning. I'm sure he will still be trekking home. We took his car and his phone. We can't call him until he gets another phone, the gang leader said. He will buy a new phone tomorrow. I will collect his new number and send to you, Gina said. Dr. Benji continued walking home. He suffered a lot that night. He did not get home until 4 a.m. When he returned, he fell in the living room and started weeping. This is what I want to see. Your tears make me happy, Gina said when he saw Dr. Benji. What do you think will be Gina's next move? Stay tuned to find out in the next part. Thank you for watching this story. Let me know your thoughts about it. Give this story a thumbs up. Turn on your notification button. Share this story with your loved ones also. Subscribe to this channel if you've not done so by now. Until I bring another part your way. Bye.